Hey y'all, so this is going to be my last video, and I wanted to just share with you guys just a little bit about what do you do if you overcolor something and you didn't leave enough white in certain spots. There are some things that you can do, and I know I showed this to you guys on the base tone video, but I think that this will be really helpful to you all. So before I do that, what I do want to show you is how you might tie, say, this little area and this area to something like this cloud that's overlapping both of those. So I did, actually I need to add orange first. I did add a little bit of orange to this and just a little bit of pink. I did not add a whole lot else really to the little edge. I want to keep this relatively light just because it is overlapping it. It is in the foreground, but you're going to have some, just some little reflections, I would assume, between, what's behind it and what's in front of it. So I'll add a little bit of pink, but not much, not much. And I did not actually leave these stars the way that they were. Not all of them. Some of them I did. But some of them I decided to take what I colored in the background. And I just pulled little touches of those colors in there. So I would say, like, holistically look at this thing and just see if there's just a way, if you introduce something in the background, to pull some of that in the foreground, even if it's in just some little spots right there. And if you wanted to or needed to brighten up some little areas, if you failed to add a base tone in some spots in your foreground, if you need to do that or warm up some stuff, you certainly can. All right, so we're dealing with the little foreground area. So in your foreground, your white should be the whitest white. As you go back into space, of course, in your middle ground and background, you're not going to have as much white showing. As you go through your composition. So what you've got to decide really is, is this enough, or did I go berserk when I shouldn't have gone berserk here? So I've got my watercolor set, and I do have that white. There, one of the things that I would tell you, if you do decide to add a little bit of white, where you went a little bit too much with a color, make sure that the color that you actually added is actually not wet. So if it's wet, what will happen is you're going to have a little bit of a bleed that goes on. So it's just one little bit of advice there. So I added just I did add a little bit of water to the tip of my brush before I dipped it in my color. I mean, you got to do that if it's watercolor. But because the paper that I'm using, it's typing paper, and so you're gonna have like an issue with, you can't do too much of it right there. Now I think the color that I actually had added right there, I think it's still wet because I literally just did this before I had talked to you guys. So what I will do is, let me add it. I can add it here just so that you can kind of see. You can see it. It's a little bit more prevalent. I'm kind of dabbing it off here in some of my darker colors. You can see that. Let's see if I went a little berserk here. I can kind of like dab it. Sometimes that'll help if you're not wanting to smear your color. So that could be something. If I wanted to, let's see, it's kind of like in the little yellow areas, it's just really hard to show because, well, it's kind of close to white. But yeah, if you take it and let's try to dab it. I think that would help right there. You can kind of see how that brightened up that little area. So let's see if we can go back to this, and I'll try that instead of smearing. It's kind of one of those things. I remember my mom would say if I'm trying to get a stain out of my shirt to dab it and not to rub it. So I need to take her advice even here. And that does just discovered that does help to cover this up a little bit if you want to do that. Now if you're wanting to blend things though, and if you're wanting more things to bleed, let's see, I'm adding a little bit more water to this, and you can though, and this may not be what you want to do, but if, like, let's just say your transition that you have, you're wanting it to appear more pink, that could be, you know, I just have a little bit of white on my paintbrush right here, and I'm helping to transition that little area and lighten the pink, because like really you don't have a light pink in your pack. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of dot my paint right here just to blend the two together, and I can always come back after this dries just a little bit and go back and add more white. But I think I told y'all in the other video, don't go too crazy with the white. Just let it dry before you actually start to layer. If I wasn't doing this video with you guys right now, I would definitely wait before I started adding another layer, like say to this little spot. But you can see, I mean, it does definitely brighten some things. I'm, you know, not going berserk or anything like that, but I could, like, if I don't know, if I wanted to show a little bit of white here, if you can't distinguish between the blue and that green right there that you added, it just helps the transitions of things not to be so jumpy. It also adds like another mid layer of color right there. If I'm wanting to lighten this, I could do that. I could pull in some right here. So this will definitely help you guys with your highlights. It's a very easy thing to go a little crazy with your markers, and it's a scary thing to think it's permanent and you can't really control it all that well, you know, like once it gets to that point. But that does help. I'd just be really careful though, and just make sure that your brights are still bright, like your white and your paper looks and appears kind of light. So anyway, I hope that does help. You may want to do this like the white on practice paper, so that's what I would tell y'all to do before you do anything. But if there's anything I can do to help you all out in making this happen, let me know. I'll try to show you. This is my funnel. I don't know how this is working out online, but here. So this is the final thing, and you'll see this on Schoology. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and I'll look forward to talking to y'all soon. Bye-bye.